that we can just throw up our hands and see WikiLeaks as just another conspiracy, which signs seem to be pointing in that direction with all the intelligence connections and more, or we can see it as an opportunity to spread information to folks about what's going on, not only on the web, but on our streets and all around the world, using these tools while we can and not letting them use what essentially is now looking like provocateur actions. And of course, the bigger the hacks get, and of course, if they start to hit more banks and more government websites, it's only going to ratchet up, and they're only going to increase the cry for more control on the web. So we can see it as a conspiracy, or we can see it as an opportunity. Some of the updates, and we'll get into a little bit of this. It's also posted on cyberspace4.com, but Gordon Duff, writer, researcher who writes a lot on veteranstoday.com, has been doing a lot of quote-unquote debunking of WikiLeaks. So let's listen to a quick clip of Gordon Duff on WikiLeaks Debunked.
Gordon Duff, I've read some of your stuff here, some of your quotes. First of all, I would like to ask you that how authentic is the WikiLeaks and all the stuff that they have put on their website?
As far as I'm able to tell, and I have sources in every department and intelligence agency in the U.S. and most of the West, there isn't a single thing in WikiLeaks that's genuinely authentic. It's carefully selected chicken feed, and as we learned from former national security analyst for the Carter administration, Zbigniew Brzezinski, he said that WikiLeaks is, and these are the quotes, created by an intelligence agency. He doesn't say which one. I believe it's Israel. Mm-hmm. He says that the output is seeded, meaning that it's planted with specific material, and he calls this material pointed. How do you feel about that?
You say that many of the documents are edited or audited. How can you say that?
On our staff, we have former intelligence officers from the U.S. Army who had served in Iraq. Some of them had produced hundreds of these documents. They immediately went online, downloaded the documents that they themselves had written, found them to be significantly altered, edited to the point where it would have taken a large number of people hundreds and hundreds of hours to change the documents, and they were all changed.
There isn't much of contents in the WikiLeaks that would damage India or Israel. What do you say to that?
Well, that's the reason so many of us, it's not that they have been edited to eliminate content over India and Israel. Let me do one aside with you. Only about 2 months ago, our General Petraeus, our commander in Afghanistan, went to Admiral Mullen, chairman of our Joint Chiefs of Staff, with a presentation, 22 slides, outlining how his intelligence in Afghanistan had taught him that the actions of Israel were endangering the United States and putting our troops in harm's way. Mm-hmm. Vice President Biden carried this message to Prime Minister Netanyahu. The intelligence, and it would have had to have been substantial, that had brought about this presentation and this very controversial policy, not one piece of this ever entered WikiLeaks.
What are the sources of WikiLeaks?
As far as we have been able to tell, based on the fact initially the claim was made that a young homosexual lover of Assange's, a Bradley Manning, a young soldier, had produced all of this material, and it had been stored for months.
Are you saying that there is a young gay or a homosexual lover of Assange's who is actually the source to give him all these cables, all the information?
Well, that's what was said. We don't believe any of this. When Brzezinski and others were asked about whether they believed this material had been stored, they had said no.
It seems as though the more questions that are answered, the more questions we have. The more things we find out, the less things we know. So that's Gordon Duff discussing and debunking WikiLeaks? Question mark? That's up to you guys. WikiLeaks contender OpenLeaks is promising, say some analysts. This is now, again, showing that people have broken away from WikiLeaks as they saw it becoming the cult of personality that it has now become. OpenLeaks. And now, of course, yes, we have WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange released on bail. And we'll take a quick clip of course, the news slathering over it. You think it was Nelson Mandela getting out of jail. But let's make a quick mention from BBC when this was happening just over a day ago. WikiLeaks Julian Assange to stay at Norfolk House. He's going to be staying with a nice, rich friend. Moving from a prison cell in Wandsworth to a country retreat in Norfolk after being released from custody. Ellingham Hall is a 10-bedroom property set on 600 acres of land near Bungay on the Norfolk-Suffolk border. The estate is owned by Vaughan Smith, a WikiLeaks supporter who served in the British Army before founding London's Frontline Journalist Club. Assange must stay there as part of his bail conditions granted on Thursday by Mr. Justice Owsley at the Royal Court of Justice. He must also wear an electronic tag, report to police every day, and observe a curfew. Assange, who is fighting extradition to Sweden over sex charges involving 2 women, was granted bail in London earlier this week, but remained in jail after prosecutors objected. And now it has become the cause celeb. Now we have all the heroes of the left coming out to support what appears to be an MK Ultra CIA LSD cult child, now being made into some sort of Jason Bourne, James Bond superstar. So let's listen to the news slather over the release of Dr. Assange Love.
Okay, great. Live pictures right now. Julian Assange is about to be released from jail. He's been there for 9 days, as you know. Bond was set. There was some dispute as to whether or not he would be able to raise the money to get out. The money has been posted. He is being released on bail. We expect that to happen any moment now. Assange, we understand, will be staying at a friend's mansion. He will wear an electronic tag and report to police daily. As you know, he is fighting extradition to Sweden on sex crimes allegations, which he says are politically motivated. So we're expecting to see him walk through those doors any moment now. Why don't we stay with the picture? And there it is. Julian Assange being released from prison. And I will turn these pictures over to Ali Velshi. Ali.
All right, Tony, thank you very much. And there